Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage Podcast, episode 156.
Wow.
I am Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky.
Hi.
And Jana's here.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
We're finishing our pizza
Oh, the
for
pizza's
Pi
so
Day.
tasty. Yeah, it is still
It's taken us 2 weeks.
3.14.20 today when we're recording this. So
Yeah.
they'll hear it in a week.
It's also, it was 150, so 3.1415.
9265535.
At some point during our recording, it was actual pi.
Yep, it was. Anyway.
You can't
so,
say otherwise,
Nope.
listeners.
Hello, welcome. Before Patreon, I actually brought a good beer. I discovered this in my own timing. It is Trader Jose Dark
Premium beer.
Premium.
5.3 alcohol.
This is the Trader Joe's
Trader's Joe.
no-name dark Mexican lager.
This is like their equivalent of $2 Chuck, but beer.
Yeah. So
Or
a dark
$3, I
a
guess.
dark Mexican lager is
Don't
Like-
tell Modi.
it's like a little bit more like a peppery sort of brown ale.
Well, that'll
So-
go great with the peppery pizza blaze we've had
Yeah.
for Pi Day.
Do you want to crank that gain?
Very fine.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna steal your opener. Oh, if you want to do it,
do
that's
yours.
that's just
Why don't
fine.
you talk about Patreon while I'm opening yours?
Fair enough. Head on over to patreon.com/carbitrage. On that page, you will find a beautifully designed, although relatively lazily, page for you, content consumers, to support content producers like us directly. We have 2 open-ended levels of support. One is $1.50, one is $5. Those are monthly contributions. One is intended just to be a beer subsidy for us, and the other one will actually net you a little bit of swag. Head on over to patreon.com/carbitrage.
I do
Anyway.
have to say the Trader Jose is actually $1.50, so it will
It's
buy.
not even $1.50. It's actually $1.09.
So it'll.
And like the
Your
hams we drink
Patreon.
is less than that. So I mean, legitimately,
Yeah.
your
Actually buying our
contribution would actually pay for a beer a month for us. So if we get 4 of those people, it covers one of us.
beer. Yes. So we need.
So we need 8 of those people just to cover the beer, and then on top of that, eventually maybe I'll be able to get. I haven't done the math on how many it would take to actually pay for my hosting fees, and then how many on top of that would to actually pay for We're never gonna make money.
You don't.
We're
but-
just trying
yeah.
to minimize the loss on the beer. So anyway,
take a sip of this dollar beer.
it's not very cold yet.
No, but it's
Pretty good. It's very mild.
Isn't that good? It's a.
I need to have more to form an opinion.
This is like one of my go-tos now.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's a good brown ale. That's what it is.
That is like the. It has the least aroma of any dark beer I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good summer dark beer. That's what it is.
It doesn't have any of the low quality elements of a really crappy beer finish. That's
Oh.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually for like $1. Like I would happily pay $2 for
These
this.
come in 6s or 12s?
Come in 6.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really good bottle of beer. So
And like, what I love about
it's actually made in Mexico.
And it's in the Carbitrage Podcast koozie, which if you are a patron or even if you're not, come find us. I will give you a stack of these.
So, what I've always loved the Trader Joe's.
Thank you.
Alcohol store, liquor store. Sorry, my
Yeah.
brain. Farted.
Liquor store.
Liquor store because they have really cheap alcohol that's really delicious. Like one of my favorite Moscatos is literally $5 there
For a bottle.
for an entire
$7.50?
bottle,
Mhm.
and then
That's
all
pretty
the
good.
beers you can just open up the case and just grab one. Like they don't have like just a section for you to pick out one beer. Like it's all priced.
It's not a build your
So-
own 6-pack or anything.
Yeah, you can just go in, get one beer, and be done. Like, open a pack and just grab one. Like,
Yeah, so you don't.
they have them priced individually and as packs.
That's how I actually discovered this, because I just grabbed one solitary bottle. So if you
Yeah.
want to get one bottle of beer for like a barbecue, you can go to Trader Joe's with $1 and
Trader's Joe.
with like $1.25 and walk out, including tax, with your beer for the barbecue.
Is it in a paper bag?
No.
Oh.
You can get it loose. You could put it in a paper bag if you would like.
I would, because however are
I'm
people
sure you
going
can
to know?
ask them for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have paper bags. So, Big fan
Speaking
of this.
of very cheap bottles of wine, I want to talk about Ferrari.
Oh yeah, Italy.
Yeah, Italy. So as we know, they're going through some changes right now.
Everybody collectively is a
Un
cold.
poco.
Basically, the entire country is shut. All the auto manufacturing stopped. Like Lamborghini stopped almost a week ago.
Oh,
Ferrari, though, they were going to keep on keeping on because they apparently had a lot of red marinara sauce that they just were dying to get through during lunchtime or something. But an hour ago, they finally announced they were going to cease production.
Oh wow, an hour ago as of Pi Day, so 1 o'clock on Pi Day.
Yeah, about 1 p.m. Central Time on Pi Day. Ferrari's announced that they are ceasing production on their vehicle line until March 27th, which apparently is probably 2 weeks after like critical mass cases in
Yeah.
Italy. So we shouldn't be surprised by this, and I'm not even being an apologist for having a bunch of COVID news, because I mean that's what's happening right now. Geneva was canceled, our auto show, auto
There's
manufacturing.
nothing else to talk about right
There
now.
isn't, because
It's
nobody
like-
else is doing anything.
It's like not talking about 9/11 on September 12th,
Yeah.
2001. Like you can't not talk about that. It's
Pretty
kind
much.
of the biggest piece of news.
Silly Modi.
I want to actually talk about something fun. I don't know if they're closer yet, but in Japan there's a Suzuki Jimny Museum.
No way.
Yes, and this is the thing: Suzuki doesn't do one model museums.
Really? So they just
This is one old, adorable old Japanese man that has an entire museum of all of his old Jimneys that he's ever owned.
Does he
What?
have up
That's
to like current ones?
adorable.
Yes, he's got all these. If you click on that link,
I'm working on it.
this guy single-handedly owns all these Jimneys.
Oh, look at there is a new one right out front.
Yeah,
Ow,
he's-
the little icon on the side.
I know,
there.
isn't
And then
it
there's
cute?
just one window for the
Oh, the-
oldest one.
Is that a Pusheen driving the new white one outside?
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
I
I
believe
hope
so.
so.
So
Oh, look at
his
this
name
guy.
is Inoue Shigeru, and these are all of his Suzuki Jimneys
Oh,
that
man.
He's got 30 of them that he's owned.
This collection probably cost him like 50 grand in total.
Oh, probably. The building
So,
costs more than
This
his
is
Oh, yeah.
this is the best part, or not the best part, but one of the funnier parts when he built this building. It's 7,105 square feet, which happens to be 660 meters,
Oh no.
which is the
and that is the
displacement
displacement in cubic centimeters.
of a chimney.
That's
Yes,
adorable.
this is like such a great building. So that white one right there, if you go to the top,
Caucasian.
that one right there is actually one of the oldest ones. The Hope Motor Company originally made the a chimney style car with a Mitsubishi Minica engine, and Osamu Suzuki, which was the chairman of Suzuki at the time, bought the rights to that, and that's how the Jimny came about.
That's
For
great.
$440,000.
Yeah, so he bought it for
Did he
very
make
little.
that back?
Yes.
The tooling? Yeah, I think they
Immediately.
made their money back.
There were 15 built with Mitsubishi engines, and they made 3 with Suzuki engines. So that's one of 18 in the world.
I have to say, the only reason why I don't own a Suzuki Jimny right now is because I knew a terrible kid in high school who had one, and he painted it like
No.
a Tonka truck.
He had a sidekick.
A sidekick.
Okay, I was gonna say, you hit a Jimny in
No,
the
sorry.
States?
Well, we did get it. We got
Sight.
we had the Samurai. That was
Well, and the Rocky.
yeah. Well, the Rocky was the Daihatsu.
Yeah, I know.
But
Which
But the
yeah,
Suzuki wasn't a Jimny.
Is actually the Rocky wasn't a Jimny either. The Suzuki Samurai was actually a Jimny, and we actually did get the
But it
Jimny.
didn't have the
here.
engine or anything.
It had a larger engine. It was the same vehicle with a larger engine.
It's not as cool.
And we actually did get the Jimny in America in the 70s.
It's not as enduring.
No, but we actually did get the Jimny.
With the tiny engine?
Yes.
Ooh, was it for gardening only?
No, it was actually meant for the road. Nobody bought it because you couldn't drive on the highway. And
Or at least
actually,
shouldn't.
The Daihatsu Rocky actually was not a Jimny. It was actually a Americanized version of a Daihatsu Rugger, which is a terrible name. But anyway, isn't this cool? Like this guy's this
Oh, he's got
entire
cutaways.
garage. He's got cutaways of
Look how
ones for
teeny the little drive shafts are.
I know it's so cute. I love this. But yeah, honey, I thought you would really appreciate
I
knowing
do.
that
I
one
love this.
old man owns all these adorable Jimneys.
He
And
really likes Jimnys.
it's all he's owned. Like he literally bought one in 1981, 10 years after they started making it, and then has owned nothing but Jimneys since 1981, and he still owns all of them.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so he's got like all these special editions and everything.
Aw.
They're so cute.
Yeah, I know, right? They're super
I hate
cute.
trucks. I would totally rock a Jimny.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
Jimny,
perfect
the
truck.
only truck you need.
Oh, they're all so cute.
He also is a rally racer and has competed 7 times in Safari Rally in Australia and 9 times in Paris to Dakar.
Oh.
Paris
Yeah.
Dakar.
So very cool.
Oh.
And he actually took a Jimny on the Mongolian rally race.
Props
as well.
to JNC for actually having photos in their articles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's one thing I hate most is reading, so I just like pictures.
We always put in either a photo that's related or an actual photo of the thing we're talking about or something related to, because yeah, having just words sucks. Like I need something to actually talk about. So yeah, there you go. Inoue Shigeru, just an adorable old Japanese man. So there you go. I now have a
Can
newfound
I
reason
get
to go
that
to Japan.
wallpaper though?
I know, right? For real, I want that wallpaper like real bad.
It's probably infringing on some copyright, trademark, or whatever.
Well,
Gosh.
actually, Suzuki, they're huge fans of this because this like expands.
Hopefully they
the brand.
give him a Jimny for this or something.
And they did help him with like a lot of like the decoration of the building. So
I would hope
That's
that those
nice.
cutaway things are like old auto show prototypes that they just had sitting around and they
Yeah.
gave them to him or something.
I think every vehicle was actually his. And I imagine the cutaways are probably ones that he owned, where the body was shot, and he just like restored the frame.
I mean, that would be cooler, but okay, that man is adorable. He's got like his little Lacoste shirt on.
Yeah.
and, like he's got his hands behind his back, like he's
Look
like,
at all my Jimneys.
the first day of school for a kindergartner when they're lining you all up and
Yeah.
they're going through your name and you're just sitting there twisting back and forth. He's like, "These are my Jimneys." I'm like, I just want to pinch your cheek.
Yeah, it was adorable.
like,
that guy's awesome.
Oh.
So-
Anyway, I want to move on to a story that's much, much less endearing.
Boo.
St. Paul, Minnesota, where I live. We'll call it a suburb of Buffalo, Minneapolis.
Yes.
City streets, as you know, statutory limits 30 miles an hour, highways 55, freeways generally 65 or 70.
Yeah.
So, St. Paul, city streets, 30 miles an hour. They're coming out with a new Karen-based plan, and they're calling it, quote unquote, 20 is plenty. And you can guess what that means.
No.
The second I heard this on NPR, I want to let you know, I stomped on my throttle in 5th gear
Good.
until I reached 40 miles
I have
an
been
hour.
belligerently hammering the throttle pedal on my streets.
Like
Way
'cause
more
I saw Peter's
this came
video
out.
of them unveiling the 25 mile per hour, and I'm like, it's physically hard to have a car drive that slow.
Not St. Paul, and this was part of my actual caption here. Is this like a sick joke because they don't want to fix their potholed roads where
Oh,
it's
yeah,
almost
true.
impossible to drive more than 20 on them?
True.
But then, and this was after I started typing, Minneapolis followed suit.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, this is only city-owned streets. It is not MnDOT roads. It is not
Yeah.
state-owned, so it's not that many. But why? I'm like, just people that don't know how to drive and shouldn't be on the road and should be in autonomous pods. They're just scared of things that they don't know how to deal with, and they're ruining it for the rest of
You know what I
us.
think we should do?
What?
Out of protest, to every single listener to Carbitrage, when in the city of Minneapolis or St. Paul and driving on one of these roads, drive the speed limit and whatever RPM matches that speed in 1st gear.
Or is just whatever RPM that is under your rev limiter but still allows you to do 20 miles per hour.
That's what I'm saying.
Do that. Unless
Yeah,
your
what-
engine's cold, in which case please just be as belligerent as humanly possible.
I'm going to actually do that. Whenever I'm driving in any of my vehicles, I'm going to be in, because I know my van, 1st gear goes to 30 exactly. So now I'll be driving at 5,000 RPM, going 25 miles an hour, and still going 5 over.
Rad. Yeah, right. Yes.
Like a dick.
That's stupid
just-
Tesla.
Like,
I have to drive the Fiat somewhere.
I think you need to take out your brother's Lamborghini and just drive that around in 1st gear at all times.
Just
Drive it past the governor's mansion, nonstop. Wait, why don't we just do that? Where's the mayor? Where's the mayor?
wasn't there
live?
an MN shittest meet last year or something like that where they just like they made this plan to like just drive cars in a circle around it's like some shitty guy's house that was like doing something stupid.
That'd be hilarious.
I'm like, I understand it's petty, but also 20 is plenty. What sort of horse shit is this?
Where does
I don't know.
Marvin Carter? What's his name?
Melvin Carter.
Melvin Carter. Where does he live?
I'm sure Scott will tell us.
Yeah, we should actually plan an event where we just drive our cars.
I don't
at
think
the
this was
speed
his
limit.
idea, but I also don't think this
He's
has been
also
passed yet.
yeah,
but maybe
I
it
mean,
has.
he's also the one. No, it's been done. Like they've been doing it. So yeah, he has the ability to stop that. He's the mayor. Like you yell at the mayor for things like this.
I am hugely not a fan of this.
Me
I think we should-
neither.
Like we should actually just get
Like,
everybody we know. We should just get to drive the loudest car past the mayor's house in first gear.
He lives on the
So-
east side.
East side. All
That's
So
where I
here's-
live.
here's the thing. So I live off of Old Shakopee and Normandale in Bloomington. So
Creepers, don't look that up.
yeah, well, it's gonna be impossible to find my house unless you know me. And
Yeah,
I
you're not gonna be able to find Jan's house.
Yeah,
she has a
it's-
minivan in a neighborhood full of minivans.
yeah,
You're
and
never gonna
like
find it.
there are 3 houses with my same
Oh, Scott likes
address.
to change.
So like you're not gonna be able to find my house.
Okay, well,
if I give
perfect.
you my address, you won't be able to find my house.
Yeah,
Anywho.
but 25's too slow. 30's
So, like-
fine. I don't like 40. I'm not advocating for 40. But
Yeah, so on Normandale, the speed limit's 45,
Mm-hmm.
and on Old Shakopee, they
Wait a
recently
minute.
raised
yeah,
it
we
to
mentioned
35.
it was state-only roads. I understand.
And so when I'm driving the speed limit
Wisconsin's
on
also a red
Normandale,
state.
everyone's tailing me and going 60,
Which is too much.
which is too much for.
But I
40.
mean-
and then on Old Shakopee, people are going 45.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand this, like,
If
speed
you don't
limit
want
to
to drive
20,
30,
'cause
don't
everyone-
drive 30.
Yeah, it's a limit. Like, that's the most
That's
you
the
can
thing.
do.
Like, just don't drive 30 miles an hour.
Like, on the streets by my house, I mean, my street's too short to even do 30.
Yeah.
I get that. That, for me, it's
Not for the
irrelevant.
test.
But Maria, though, oh, yeah, I do 30 all the time. But Maria, in order to get the green lights to go to work, I have to do 37 miles per hour or more between my first stoplight and my stop sign. Otherwise, I will not make the second stoplight in the morning. I figured this out. If they drop that to 20, I will have to really, really break the law
yeah.
to avoid this red light.
To effectively
And
not
then-
make your
I guarantee-
commute an extra 5 minutes long.
These Karens aren't going to go through and change stoplight programming to
No.
adjust for these speed
Absolutely
limits.
not.
If they did, fine. I do not care. I legitimately don't care what the speed limit is. And honestly, I posted this in all the Jane Prince
Yeah.
Ward 6 representative or whatever. I'm just like, this is a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And many Karens were like, "Oh, drive like your kids live here." I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, I'm not advocating for 40, but 30 is not a problem
No, it's not.
on a road with driveways. And there aren't driveways where I live anyway, except for mine, where people turn around all the
I
time.
just want everybody to know that the decibel limit in the state of Minnesota is 98 decibels for your vehicle. So if you have a performance exhaust, as long as your vehicle is under 98 decibels, you can make 98 decibels.
I would say the vast majority of people that I notice, and this is in reply to a comment in our
Yeah.
Twitch, drive significantly less than 30 in the morning. Like, I get trapped behind people that are doing 23 to
And
25.
that's fine. That's fine.
I
don't
that's-
drive
they're within
30
their right to
everywhere.
do that. But
If
I'm
it's-
just saying, like, the speed limit isn't the issue.
No.
People ignore it whether they go too slow or too fast.
Yeah.
Just changing this number will do nothing. There's
Well,
no enforcement. There's no
This
nothing.
is my thing. If I'm driving down Cretan
Okay.
at midnight
Mm-hmm.
and there's nobody there, I'm the only car on the road, I'm not going 25 miles an hour.
Hell no.
No, I'm going 30 to 35,
If
which
it's
is
a road,
It's just a reasonable speed.
Where
Because
there's-
that's when
yeah.
the speed limit actually matters, is when there's nobody around you.
which is when you're most likely to be ticketed for it.
Yeah.
When
that's
it's safest.
Yeah, when it's safest. So if I'm going to be driving down, also, they used a picture of, what is this? This is Szechuan spice.
That's in Uptown.
So yeah, this is
Again, Minneapolis followed suit. So
Yeah,
and-
but I mean, that's
and
the
they
thing.
showed 25.
But this is the thing, is these roads here that they're showing, like, you
can't-
can't go 30.
No.
Like, there on Lindale,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way you're hitting 30 miles an hour.
Right, but is there an issue if you're going through at 1 a.m. and there's nobody around?
3
Is there an
a.m.,
issue
yeah.
with you going 30 on this road, which
No.
is 4 lanes
Also,
wide?
1 second, they're talking about kids getting killed by, like, getting hit by cars. Karen, your child should not be out on the road at 1 o'clock in the morning. If you're worried about your child getting injured by somebody going 30 miles an hour at 1
Also,
o'clock in the morning,
it's distracted driving.
1 second. You need to not have a child because your child shouldn't be on the road at 1 o'clock in the morning. when a speed limit actually matters.
And again, the difference between a driver doing 25 and 30 miles per hour,
It's nothing.
when they're still texting both ways,
Not
does
gonna-
not matter.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
kid will get hit both ways. I'm very much opposed to this.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a really
And-
bad idea.
Like,
So-
just like, I hate the signs that are drive. Like, your kids are here. Like, nobody is purposely driving. Like,
I'm just to tell you, the first time I ever saw that sign, I'm like, what would I do if I was a kid and I wanted to see a car? I want that car to do a burnout. First thing I did, I looked at that sign, did a burnout.
yeah.
I drove through right after I got the 355 down
Does
here.
anybody want this last slice?
I was doing. No, I would eat it, but no, it's. All right, thank you. I did like a loop after I washed the 355 just to air dry it, and there's a neighborhood down there, and I did a loop. I was in second gear doing
I remember this,
27
yes.
miles per hour, and this lady runs out of her house with her shitty little kids playing in the front yard, yelling at me for going too fast. I stopped my car in the middle of the street. I'm like, I am doing 27 miles per hour on the far side of the street. Your kids are in the yard. What is your problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
she's just
so
like,
I'm so.
Don't have your kids play in the front yard if you're going to be that upset about
there's
it.
that, and like, I am not breaking any laws. You just hate me because I'm in a bright red Ferrari,
Yeah.
That is
and I'm in second gear.
exactly
That's
why.
just-
Go
Actually,
fuck yourself.
once you're going second gear, going 30 miles an hour. You're going
27.
it's 27, not even 30, and you're in second gear. Second gear
Uh-huh.
is when you get that. You go into that at like 35, 40ish.
No, I mean the gears
But
are
I mean,
pretty
like-
short. But
I mean, second gear is a totally reasonable speed.
that
That's what
car
I'm saying.
it doesn't run enjoyably at lower RPM. It just doesn't.
Well, no, what I'm saying is going 25 or going 27,
Thank you. 27.
going 27 miles an hour in second gear. Second gear, like I can understand making noise if you're going like 35, 40 is what I'm saying. But if you're going 27 miles an hour in second gear, you're at a reasonable speed for that gear.
Reasonable speed. And it was like 2,500 RPM. Like it wasn't.
Louder.
I would have done another
Again.
pass around her house, except in first gear, going the speed that she wants me to go, which would be wherever my rev limiter is.
I mean, first at 30 on that car is probably like 7,500 RPM or something like that.
Perfect. What does that rev to?
8,400.
I
Oh,
would,
gosh.
I would do it. Just,
No,
Either
and,
way.
like, I live in a really busy neighborhood that also has a lot of kids, and they're always running around in the streets and stuff, and they're fine. And people speed down my neighborhood. Like, we have lower speed limits because it's a really windy, hilly neighborhood, and people don't go the speed limit. And we park cars in the street to try to slow them down,
Exactly.
and they skid to a halt when they see our cars. And I've had cars honk at my car, my parked car.
The people don't go the speed limit thing. I agree with
Yeah.
both you and Scott. They don't.
No.
Even right now, there is nobody that goes 30 and a 30. There are
No.
people that go 25, and there are people that do 40.
Yeah.
and
There's
change it to
nobody in
25,
between.
It's
No.
gonna be the same price regardless,
And again,
Yeah.
there's no enforcement on these streets.
or not same price, but same speed regardless.
Yeah, no.
When was the last time on a city-owned street you saw a cop clocking? It
Never.
does not
Never.
happen.
It
The
doesn't
worst thing
happen.
that happens is an angry person calls the city and they put one of those little police radar trailers there for a week, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then it
That's
turns
it.
into a game of high score.
Oh yeah, whenever I see one of those, if my engine's warm, I like to get the dashes. Yeah, where you're above
Yeah.
99.
And it's just like, that's,
My
It's like-
favorite one's 69 miles an hour.
Nice.
but yeah, like the speed limit isn't gonna do anything, and it's really upsetting that people think it is.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. This is
Well, I mean, in core city, to your point, like in downtown, the stoplights are so close between, it's impossible to do 30 anyway.
I don't think I've ever gone into third gear. in
I've
downtown.
never seen a speed limit sign in these areas where they're proposing this change.
Yeah.
So, like,
It's
I'm just
ridiculous.
gonna be ignorant and assume that statutory limits apply, and that still is 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And also,
And again,
the thing
there's
is,
never enforcement in these areas. Never.
we should also state that if say you get hit by a vehicle going 25 versus 30 miles an hour,
Yep.
you're still getting maimed.
It's
It-
a
that
significant
speed-
impact.
That speed isn't that big of a change.
No.
And yeah, it's
This is a dumb idea. This
Yeah.
is the money could have been put somewhere else that actually matters.
Like
this
potholes.
is retarded.
Well, so this is the thing, is that, Gianna, you're right with potholes, because Sybil, my friend who's been maimed the most on a bicycle that
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
I've ever met in my life,
And
at least
cars,
twice a
like-
year, she's been hit on her bicycle or fallen off her
Jesus.
bicycle in the street.
I mean,
like,
that's a big concern. I mean, drivers do not pay attention, but the thing is, drivers don't pay
No,
attention.
and she's been hit by cars purposefully
yeah,
several
like
times.
I've never
'cause
seen
drivers are
anybody.
assholes.
I've never seen anybody get maimed more on a bicycle than Sybil.
Yeah.
And she's never been hit because somebody was speeding. She was hit because there's a Trumper that didn't like her liberal sticker on her backpack that
Yeah.
doored her. Actual thing that happened.
What a dick.
I know, right?
And she only bikes within Uptown, so it's
Yeah.
a really busy area that they decided to basically almost attempt to murder her
And then
at this point.
And then there's on two different accounts, she has sustained a concussion because she couldn't
Jesus.
move out of her bike lane, and she hit a pothole
yeah.
that enveloped her bicycle wheel, bent it, and then launched her over the handlebars
Jesus.
on two different
This
accounts.
must have been St. Paul.
No,
No,
this
it's
is Minneapolis.
Pothole
It's not-
that big in Minneapolis?
yeah, all the
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, we had one over by my shop that we made goal just doing tires.
Mm-hmm.
So we did $4,500 in repairs for a week. Not for a week, for a day, doing just tires and rebalancing wheels and replacing wheel bearings from cars that hit this pothole. And we had $4,500 in one day where we had nothing on the schedule.
The first time it gets to like 100 degrees and you see a section where the road is heaved and
Yeah.
heaved up like that, there's like a line
Of cars
of cars on the
afterwards.
shoulder with bent wheels on both
Yeah.
front and back. I'm like, that sort of thing happens. But the
So-
key to this, don't lower the goddamn speed limit. Don't be a dick to cyclists and pedestrians.
So what they should do is this money they're spending making these signs. Why don't you spend that money paying for police officers to actually enforce these areas, actually enforce
That
the
will
laws,
stop people from
Yeah.
speeding.
and use the rest of that money to fix the damn potholes, so bicyclists don't have to bike in the middle of the lane.
Anyway, yeah. That's,
could go on
that's
that topic
plenty of
for
this
Anyway.
topic. I am really not a fan.
Speaking
Moving on.
Speaking of pedestrians getting maimed, the 1920s was a terrible time for pedestrian safety when cars were seemingly made to try and kill as many people as possible with extra tall grills, extra big ground clearance, and 8,000-pound curb weights. What was known in the 20s is the peak of automotive design was the coach-built automobile. You had the Molliners, you had the Delahaye's, you had the Staucheks, you had the Portos, you had all the best companies, the LeBarons, the Fleetwoods.
That sounds like church bells at this point.
I can keep naming them for days.
I missed the pre-war bell the most at the auto show.
I know, right? And now Coachbuilding can make a comeback because
Yay!
Bollinger is actually releasing their SUV without a body.
Isn't it Bollinger?
I don't care.
Okay.
It's without a body. So you're giving you a bare chassis with an EV drivetrain and electric steering, which means you can make whatever you want on it. It
So
is
you
still
could
a
make
truck.
a Cybertruck?
Yes, you could.
Like Garage 54.
Which actually, this is my favorite part about this because that body does not do a whole lot for me.
No, that looks
No.
like that weird F-350 based
Yeah.
It
armored
looks like
thing.
Jeff.
It does look like the Eagle Eye Hammer thrust, Jeff.
The Eagle Jeff iHammer. Yeah, but that mixed with an H1 Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't do a lot for me. I think this is the best thing that Bollinger can do is you can now, for $125,000, they're planning to just give you a bare chassis that you can then make a vehicle on to suit your needs.
That seems
I love
like
that.
way too much money for this, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
200-mile range.
oh, sorry, 125,000 miles for an electric truck.
$125,000 for a 200-mile off-range truck. Oh, okay. So that is for the full truck. That's not
That is
for
for the full truck, yeah,
Okay,
that's
I
what I
want to
saw.
know what this skateboard costs. Because, I mean, that's not sophisticated.
Keep scrolling down.
It's a
all the-
two-motor thing with an inverter and a charger and a battery pack.
Keep going down.
They offer up to 180 kilowatt hours, though.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
they don't say the price, I guess. But you know what? If you're coach building a vehicle, price does not matter.
That's true.
So my
And this is a very conventional frame. Like, you could
Yes.
put this under almost anything.
you could. My question is, if you got one of these, what would you build? Because I know what I
well,
would
you
build.
go first. I'll think about this. This is putting me on the spot.
I would build basically a Art Deco Duesenberg-styled vehicle that is now an off-road truck and just as terrible for pedestrian safety.
Okay.
With 11-inch wide headlights and a giant radiator. I don't know what I'm radiating, but I'm radiating. And
Well,
I will have
battery and inverter heat. You still need a
where
radiator.
in a Lycoming inline 8 would sit would be additional storage space. No, it'd be a wet bar, actually. Inside,
So an off-roading car with a wet bar?
yes.
Okay.
And in the back where the trunk would be, a gun rack.
I have an answer.
Okay.
I would make the perfect vehicle for the bourgeois.
All right.
What would you make?
Zamyad Z24.
That'd be perfect. Just
Yep.
take one and just bolt it
Just
on.
bolt it on and then just use it like you would a Zamyad.
I would make the most ridiculous Duesenberg truck. Jana, what would you make?
I would recreate Jeff.
She would make Jeff. So
That
she
is
would just
a totally fair answer. Imagine
she
having
would-
a practical Jeff.
she would basically just make a
The Hammerhead Eagle
no
Eye Thrust.
a Bollinger wagon.
She would just be making the thing that you could buy.
Yeah. But like without
But like
the
with
bed.
the wagon.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
topper. Yeah. And then a
It'd
little
be like a
little
camper,
porthole at the top.
Cause like I'll just combine like a
For Hammond.
bunch of Top Gear challenges in one. So it'd be like a camper in the back, but like instead of it being like a nice lofty like master suite, it's gonna be bunk beds.
Does
That'd
it
be a great
also
idea.
still have plastic lawn
Like
chairs for
cot.
driving seats?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They'd be mid height like
Yeah.
Ferrari
No,
like
I'm-
Testarossa seats.
Look-
Like you know
at
those
this.
bunker cots?
You would need the high mounted center seat.
Oh, so that's where
the inverter
table
and
will
charger.
be?
Yeah, this is like
There's
it's a
gonna be a
Westphalia.
table. Yeah, and then there's gonna be on the sides. There's gonna be like bunker cot military bunk beds.
Ooh. Another alternative to what I would make. The exact same thing, but instead of a wet bar in the front,
A
I would-
moist bar.
I'd make a internal combustion powered charger, and my internal combustion engine would be a patent tank engine.
Oh god.
And then it'd actually be a coupe. It'd be a 2-seater, so it'd look like a really big, gangly off-road Bugatti Atlantique.
I like my idea better. I think I win this idea.
Mine would roll coal.
Mine would be used for hauling immense amounts of girders improperly.
Stuck on top of the roof, not even like hanging.
I have a feeling this is not as durable as a Zamyad, so
We'll find out, won't
yep, we sure will.
we? So, that is the most beautiful part of Coachbuilding.
I mean, it's cool. I
Your
mean,
dreams
all-
are now attainable.
All modern electric vehicle platforms are skateboards like that, so it's
Yeah.
cool that they're willing to sell you one.
I'm actually really excited because I do want to see these coach-built cars come out, and I actually would like to see more. Like, I would like to see Tesla do this, where
Yeah.
they will sell you just that.
Why not?
Because that's the thing is Tesla is actually the Playboy car at this point. Like,
Yeah.
if
And
you're,
honestly, a lot of the really high-performance third-party homebrew EVs, they're based on Tesla motors.
yeah. So,
So
you could actually see a resurgence of the coach-built automobile with the EV platforms like this. I think that'd be the
maybe
coolest
do
thing in the world because I'd love to see more of that. I want to see some more Portos and style checks.
And we have that low production legislation now,
Yes,
where
we
if you
do.
make fewer than 500 units, you can do that.
That's cool.
This article I'm going to do next doesn't have any pictures. Ah!
Ah.
So anyway, I'll just tell you about it briefly. So Genesis, the spin-off of Hyundai Kia that makes the lovely G70, one
Yep.
of our favorite cars here on Carbitrage. Company-wide, they're instituting a policy where if you lose your job and you own a Genesis product that you own or you make payments on, they will make your car payments for up to 6 months if you get to be terminated, essentially, if you're between jobs because of COVID-19.
That's
That's
actually really cool.
amazing.
And I see a lot of this kind of stuff going around. In the computer world, I saw MSI extended all their manufacturer warranties that are going to expire in the next 2 months, another 2 months.
That's really
That's
just
great.
to make sure that nobody has to worry about, dealing with stuff they really would rather not worry
I'm
about. So
really glad companies are doing this because whereas other countries' governments are doing this for them,
Mhm.
Our government
we're
isn't
having
capable.
companies that's like, you know what, we understand you. We understand this is going to be.
This
a
is
tough
actually
time.
capitalism working correctly. It's a rare event. We should
And-
all be very proud of everyone.
I mean, on the other side of the equation, like this costs them basically nothing to
Yeah.
do, and it's great press for them.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
really,
it's
like
good for them.
the circumstances that you would need to be in for this to apply to you are so minimal that it's worth doing.
Well, not only that, in addition to that, you're also going to mitigate any chances of you having your own in-house financing go into default, which is really important because once people stop making payments, you're not getting your money for it. You now have a devalued vehicle that you just repoed, and now it's a
and now you're relying on auction values and
not
whatever
only that,
condition it's
you
in.
also have a repo on the vehicle history, which is about as bad for your resale value as a car accident.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, repos destroy vehicle value.
I wonder what Tucker's old Veloster went for.
Absolutely nothing at all.
Okay, cool.
Well,
anyway, good guy, Genesis. Thanks for doing that, even though it's a little bit on the ragged edge of, okay, you're just doing that to make noise.
Yeah,
but no, it's a cool thing to do.
It's better than them doing nothing.
Yeah.
Reaching out and saying we understand is actually really important. So what I want to talk about here is the 5 Best Buys. Don't scroll down because we're going to make a game of this. The 5 Best Buys.
Let me zoom in then so they can't see the top one.
Yes. Of Amelia Island 2020. So these are 5 cars that sold for the best price. Screaming deals on these vehicles.
Okay. And we unanimously picked this over the top sellers.
Yes, we did.
Because we don't care about the top sellers.
Yeah. That's
No,
like
it's
Doug
about-
DeMiro. We don't care about the hypercars. We care about the cool stuff that people got good prices on.
Buy low, sell high arbitrage. With cars, Carbitrage. This is the Carbitrage way.
Nice.
So the first car I want to talk about, if you scroll down just a little bit here to the 1957 Beetle, take a look at that. That is enough.
Ooh.
Tell me, how much do you think that this sold for? Note, it is right-hand drive.
It's not a split window.
It's an oval window, which is just as... It's not... the split window's like the rarest, but the oval window's much more rare.
$57,000.
It has a excellent condition. Average Beetle is $32,900. 57 would be accurate for a right-hand drive model, actually. How much do you think that it sold for, though?
Oh, that was my guess.
I'm gonna say 75.
No, the buyer got the best deal on this one.
Oh, the buyer got the
Oh.
best deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jenna will
37.
win, but
37?
I'm sticking with my original guess.
23,520.
Oh my God.
Screaming deal on this. This guy can take this, own it for 6 months, turn around at Monterey, assuming it's still happening, and double his investment.
I was gonna
Wow.
say 25, but I didn't want to go
Wow.
too low.
So-
I know that's a good deal.
That's an
That's a
unbelievable
great
deal.
deal.
And the fact it's right-hand drive makes it even more rare, because there were
Really?
not a ton of right-hand drive
I
early
thought that would have
oval
been a
windows.
detriment for value on those.
No, not even, because the left-hand drive ones are the most common.
Well, right, I get that.
Yeah.
But just because it's rare doesn't necessarily make it valuable.
Yeah.
That is true, but with these Beetles, you have the weirdest combination of crap to make it worth anything.
All right.
So let's scroll down here just a little bit to this Alfa Romeo 1965 Alfa Romeo Giulietta
Look
Sprint.
at that
That's good.
cutie
So-
patootie.
No more than that.
Halt, I say.
So I need to explain this
Stop
one.
in
This
your
one's a bit
tracks.
odd, because the car was actually mislabeled at auction by Gooding and Company, which is
Oh,
shocking.
really?
Oh, my.
How do you do that?
So this is the thing. The
Like,
car's
especially with
the
the
car's
Giulia.
mislabeled as a 1965 Alfa Romeo Giulietta Sprint 1300. So there's a 1965 Giulia Sprint and a 1962 Giulietta Sprint,
Oh.
but neither of them came with a 1300cc engine.
What?
And yeah, it was totally messed up.
So this is just a goof up.
Yeah, so it's
1965 Alpha something.
But yeah, so this is the thing. Regardless, it's no less attractive. I cannot give you what the market value of this
Is that a
vehicle
black
would be.
or like
It's
a green?
super pretty, like blackish bluish color.
Okay.
I'm going to guess $32,000.
$32,000.
I'm gonna do 31.
31,000. Your price is right, Eric.
Okay.
It's actually 40,320. These cars, in known good condition, either one of them have a price appropriate value that's about 10%, 8 to 10% higher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
I'm
I like
surprised
that.
that's worth so much. I mean,
It's
it's super cute, but
It's super pretty.
you look at a P1800 or something of that same era, and it's like, okay.
This one also has a pretty decent racing pedigree. And this is Jesus, Jana.
Sorry.
Wow.
Rip headphone users.
So let's scroll down a little bit further here to the
What?
next one. I know, right? So that's good.
Is that
This one,
3.8? Okay.
it's a 1963 Jaguar E-Type SI 3.8 Roadster, Series 1, of course. It's condition number 2.
$7 million.
1 second. So, good condition for these cars is $92,000. Excellent condition is $186,000. This vehicle went unsold in Arizona last year at $120,000. What do you think this sold for?
Okay.
83.
75.
$87,360. This dude took an L on this car by not taking that $120,000 bid.
But he can declare it as a tax loss. And
Yeah.
the longer I go, the less I care about making money on cars.
Yep.
Because
That's
if you
true.
lose money on it, you just write it off on your taxes. It doesn't matter.
That's a good point.
That's nice.
All right, so scrolling
Carbitrage
down,
top tip.
this
Right?
one
If you're wealthy enough.
is a relative
Oh, it's
Deal.
a 300 Roadster. too,
300
not even a
SL.
190.
300 SL Roadster, the one you want. Of course, that being
1.25 million.
I should say that being said, the 190 Roadster, the 1957 Mercedes 190 SL Roadster.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one of those and you're driving up the PCH, you don't care that it's not a 300 SL Roadster.
God, no, it still rolls.
It's the same car with a slightly
Look
worse
at that
engine.
cutie
A significantly worse
patootie.
engine.
And
Like-
you're still getting passed by a Sienna of very unhappy people.
Was that a 2GR I hear?
It is a perfect vehicle.
These have the cutest little faces. And
These
it's just
are
like, why would
perfect-
you be mad on the PCH if this was slowing you down?
There
This
is
is a perfect vehicle.
There's one that looks just like this in this color down here. It's a
I
190, and it's
Yes,
just
I've
lovely.
seen that one.
I cry every time I see it.
So this car, before you scroll down, so in 2016, this car sold for $825,000. 25% below the good value
So you're 1.2.
at the time.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
At Amelia Island this year, I will not tell you its price, but the current number 3 condition value is $960,000.
I'm sticking with my 1.2.
And
This looks
the
nicer than a
current-
Condition 3 car.
Yeah, I know. The current number 1 condition is about 1.3 million.
Sticking
what
with my 1.2.
Do you think this one sold for?
$910,000.
910?
I'm sticking with my 1.2.
1.2 million? No. $758,500.
What?
This car
We're
is
both way off.
Just a little. Like, un
that-
poquito.
this is the world's
I was
most affordable.
$160,000 off still.
Seriously, you're fine to assume what
I
you
thought
got.
it was
This
good with
price,
1.2.
It's a $758,000. That's how much a barn find one of these that doesn't run is worth. So if you
what
find
Oh,
type of
the Roadsters
cocaine
aren't
were
worth
these
much,
people?
but-
like,
the Roadsters are worth 35% less than the.
I'm amazed
following.
it's not more than that in a Golf or whatever.
But I mean, at the end, again, that's the thing. At the end of the day, look what you're in.
I understand, but the Roadsters don't have pedigree.
No, it's
They're
true.
just awesome cars.
They are awesome.
But
cars.
this engine, I mean, yeah, 300s.
Boy, howdy.
These are worth so much more than 190s. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
go on to this.
330
One.
GT. Oh, this car!
This car that somebody
The
decided.
repainted gold one.
Somebody decided to paint this car brown. So, if I remember correctly, one second, I believe this car actually was a really good color originally.
It was. I thought it was red. No.
It was like red
I
or
don't
something.
know.
Or no, it
But
was silver, wasn't it?
No, it was
Why
black.
would you
It
do
was
that?
black.
It makes
Oh,
it look
okay.
like a fish.
So,
Wow.
all right,
Catfish. I am a catfish.
2 more of these sold at Amelia Island this year. The prices that the other 2 sold for were $1.985 million and $1.71 million.
250,000. That's
Eric,
what I
What
would
do you
spend
think this
on
one
that car.
sold for? The car is actually, barring the paint change, it's number 2 condition. The paint change kept it
Okay.
from being
I'm
number
gonna
1.
say $150,000.
$150,000. You guys aren't giving enough credit. It sold for $1.475 million.
Why?
But that's the thing. That paint job cost the owner of this car. This is the world's most expensive paint job. That's a $400,000 paint job that guy just decided to make. This guy
I
painted.
cannot tell you how little I care about that car.
If you're
Somebody-
listening to this stream, you gotta go and look
You
at our
really have to
faces.
look up Bonham's Amelia Island 2020, lot 153.
1967 Ferrari 330 GTS in beige.
It is desert sand mica beige. Its actual color is oro chicaro, which is light gold, which is the exact color of a 1997 Toyota Avalon.
Yeah.
That is the worst color in
It's
the
a
world.
grandpa color. And I'm usually okay
This
with
car
grandpa colors,
blends
but
into hummus.
Not only did this car sell for the lowest price of any Ferrari 330 sold in 2020, it was the worst price that anybody's ever gotten for a 330 in 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, all the way back to recession time 2012. This is the last time somebody's ever bought a Ferrari 330 GTS for this little amount of money because some guy decided, I want to paint my car beige.
What a horrible decision. Wow. If he had painted it Rosso Corsa, I bet it would have made money on it.
yeah.
Oh, guaranteed. But, oh my
So
God.
top tip to whoever bought this terrible looking
This
vehicle.
abomination.
This is a really
Have
bad
fun with your
version of
Ferrari
a really
catfish.
great car.
Oh, that's the end of him. Okay.
But yeah, so
Good,
that
'cause I
was the
gotta
last
pee.
one. But that was
Wow, what a way to end that. God, don't paint your Ferrari. Just don't do it.
whatever color it is, leave it like that.
Oh
Like
my God, just seriously, if you got like a hearing aid beige Ferrari, as long as it came that way,
to be fair, going back to that 300 SL thing, the guy that bought that beige Ferrari 330, he still has a Ferrari 330. He's
great. He has a mediocre old Ferrari.
Well, I mean, that was one of the best Ferraris of the era. It's
Great.
just the worst one in the world. But like that's a Carbitrage way to buy an old Ferrari. Is you buy the dumbest one.
To be on the receiving end of that transaction, absolutely.
yeah,
Because then you
like,
can go through and take it to Mako and paint it black again, and you're good.
with a Mako paint job, you'll be thrilled.
As long as you jam it, it's fine.
Well, you know what's actually really nice? That guy probably bought that car, and he probably drives it from Los Angeles all the way to Monterey Car Week on the PCH.
That's true. If you get rock chips on that, who cares?
It's a good thing.
Who cares?
By putting rock chips in that paint, you're saving yourself money from sandblasting that paint off. later.
Exactly. You are saving hours of labor to undo that nasty ass paint job.
Oh my God, it is so ridiculous. That was the worst paint job I've ever seen. All right. Anyway, let's talk about.
C8 Corvettes?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, the mid-engine Corvette, we finally have it. So, okay. I want to start actually not with the C8 Corvette, but
Okay.
a topic that's very controversial amongst not only car enthusiasts, but anything with an engine, especially brand new. So you've all heard about break-in periods, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You buy a brand new engine, there's a manufacturer recommendation. It's like try not to exceed 50% throttle, vary your engine speed between 2 and 4,000 RPM for the first 500 or 1,000 miles. There are two schools of thought on this. One is obey it fervently, and the other one is ignore it and send it.
Oh.
The reason why I bring that up is the Corvette, the new one, the C8, the mid-engine one, it actually prevents you from using the full power or rev range electronically until you hit 500 miles.
Oh.
That's
so
great.
there's actually a GIF right here of a C8 crossing over 501 to 502 miles, and you can see the red line change from 4,500 to 6,500.
Huh.
So the thing is, they don't require an oil change to do this. They just want you to drive at 500 miles, and then it's good. So back in the old days, they're like, okay, baby it, do this, whatever, vary the speed, no excessive load, change the oil, then beat on it. Or there's people, especially with like snowmobiles and quads, just like full send, just like seat the rings
This
in
also
hard.
only revs to 5,500 RPM.
Oh, 6,700.
Oh, okay. So you're on. I wonder if that yellow line goes away after you do your oil change.
That's a good question, but I doubt it. The yellow line is get rid of the mayonnaise. Just leave the ketchup, okay?
Yeah.
If I want to send her to the ketchup, just let me do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but anyway, this is cool.
Yeah, it's actually really
It
cool.
is
they did
cool
that.
that they can do that. But
I mean, I would be a little angry if I bought a brand new vehicle and I couldn't just immediately go do like burnouts and donuts.
Yeah.
But like for warrantying something like that, I totally
makes
get it,
sense.
Oh yeah,
and
Makes sense.
I think that's a pretty good idea.
that's not
And-
bad. Not a bad idea at all.
And I actually wish I could implement this onto vehicles that I service
Yeah.
for like clutch changes,
Yeah.
rod bearings.
Yes.
Like, if I could limit your engine to 4,000 RPM for the first 1,000 miles with electronics, I would absolutely do that because I don't want to warranty your dumb behavior.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
Anyway, I
You should
guess.
charge twice as much for the second time you have to do it.
So
Well, I don't warranty my jobs, so
good.
I don't have to.
I have one more vehicle from Amelia I want to talk about. 'Cause this
Okay.
one's kind of a ridiculous one. I don't have a photo of it because I brought this up on my computer because I was
It's fine.
just thinking about it. The 1978 bay window Volkswagen Transporter Campmobile.
That is
The-
a long name. That's like 80s Japanese long.
It's a bay window Westie.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can get an idea of that. Bay window Type 2 Westie. Bill's van. Exactly Bill's van.
Okay.
But in flawless condition. Somebody paid a record price for it. I'm gonna tell you, the price guide at Haggerty says $5,200 to $34,000, between barely drivable condition to perfect condition. Best one in the world, $34,000 is what they're saying, right? For a Westie, which is fair. Which is
That seems
57,000.
low, but okay.
that. Well, I mean, for a bay window, like this is not a special vehicle, really.
I guess that's a late one, right?
Yeah,
But
it's like, yeah, it's the best to drive, but I mean, like, it's the worst to look at and the worst to like.
it's a good parts
common.
vehicle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
To
whatever.
retrofit an early one.
It is what it is. That's what it is.
Great. Great bet
So-
hedging.
What do you think this one sold at? Record price. So $34,000 is the top recommended price usually.
Is this a good deal?
for the seller?
Okay. 41.
5825.
Jana's the closest,
Wow.
but she's still low. $61,600.
I was
much
so
your,
close.
How much was your Ferrari?
50 even.
You could buy a Ferrari and then do the service on it for that price.
Yeah, at a dealer.
Yeah. Like, this is a dumb decision. This is a really dumb buy. Whoever bought this should feel bad for themselves. Because this vehicle is worse in every way than a Vanagon. This thing sucks.
And an F355 Spider.
It's also baby
Wait,
shit
wait.
green. Like, it's just the worst color.
This is a,
It's Bill's Westie in perfect condition. Which
wait,
Bill's
a West
Yeah, a Westie. Like a Westphalia.
Australia.
Bill's van. His beige van.
insert man blinking gif.
Yeah.
GIF.
So, but this is the thing. My boss's van makes sense at his price point because that's like a $20,000 van, and that van is a screaming deal for a cool retro camper.
Yeah.
At 20 grand. 61? Hell no. That's insane. That's unbelievable.
Has it been retrofitted with a closed
No.
out Subaru engine?
No.
Yeah, then I don't care.
It's all original. It's really
Screw-
dumb.
Oh no!
All
You're
original.
gonna have to
No,
put
I-
like 20 grand into that thing.
He has to Thelma and Louise that thing.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I'd drive it off a bridge too. Like, I really don't like Westies. Like, the Type 2 Volkswagen is one of my least favorite vehicles in the world.
TIL.
Yeah, it's really is just the worst.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just because everything that vehicle does, a Vanagon does better in every way.
Everything
So,
you
like,
can do, I can do.
Every time
better.
you talk about like a Volkswagen van, I just assume you're talking about a bus because like
A Type
that's the only one anybody should care about.
2. Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, the reality comes that you're not talking about one, and I'm like, wait, what?
Well, I am. I'm talking about the Type 2, the van, Bill's van, this one, here.
Oh, so you're talking about a Type 2. Okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about like a Vanagon.
No, I'm saying a Vanagon is a better deal because you can get the best Vanagon in the world is $40,000, has AC, has fuel injection,
Yeah.
has like
A diesel Eurovan manual. That's where it's at.
no, because then you have biodegradable wiring everywhere, including the doors, which come completely apart, and the dash. You also have coolant issues, way worse than the Vanagon, because you have to remove the dashboard. The dashboard takes about 10 hours to remove, especially with the heater core. which
Okay,
is-
don't buy a Volkswagen van.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just don't.
If you're gonna buy one, buy a Vanagon, and then if you really are smart, buy a Toyota Hiace.
See, ever since
Like
there's
that's
like
the one you should buy.
Or a Sprinter conversion van.
like-
what was that German Ford
The Hyman?
van? Yeah, the Hyman.
Yeah.
Buy a Hyman.
the German Ford van.
I do have to say, like nostalgia reasons, I would love
A Hyman.
a bus, like
A split
Volkswagen.
window, yes.
Yes, but like I wouldn't drive it. I would have it in a garage, and it
if-
would be a fancy living room.
Hey, if this was a split window and somebody paid $61,000, great deal. But the fact that this is
You don't
this
drive
is
those
basically
things.
somebody just told you that they paid $40,000 for an M3 coupe.
E36?
And it's an E36 automatic. That's what you're getting. Well, actually, this one's not automatic.
I just worked on a Boston Green 98 four-door last night. Like a nice enough car, but it's got scratches, nothing special. Dude's like, yeah, I paid 11 grand for it. I'm like,
You what?
what?
Yeah, that's how much I go for
What?
now.
What?
It's a insane
I mean,
price.
it's a nice enough car with a good detail. It would look nice, but I'm just like, you bought this when they were not worth 7 or 11 grand.
This is a good way to actually describe it for people that don't understand vans. Is so the split window, the original
The
windows
desirable
fold out,
one.
the super desirable one, the Sambas.
Especially if you got a 23 window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the E30 M3s, right? Those are the ones you really want, but you can't afford. The E36 is the bay window, the one that's mechanically pretty close. It's kind of cool. People take a lot of photos of it, but it's not that great.
I have an idea.
The Vanagon is the E46. That's where it gets everything right. You're
Yeah, okay.
comfortable.
That's a very good analogy for me.
It's
It's an
comfortable.
E36 plus.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's reliable.
It's well made.
It's well made. It's not over engineered. Yeah, exactly.
That $350 E46 still drives better than any E36.
And then the E90 is the Eurovan. It can be good, but when an E90 goes wrong, it can really, really go wrong.
Okay.
E90s are pretty solid, except for that electric water
I
pump.
have
That's
a
what I mean. Is the
really
electric.
good idea. So everybody's nostalgic for the Volkswagen bus, right?
Pretty much true.
Yeah.
Get one of those Coachbuilding skateboards
hmm
and build your own.
Or just, I mean, I don't know how
Or
much of
get
it's
a bus.
wiring, how much of it's drivetrain. I'm guessing a lot of it is drivetrain and brakes and shit like that. It's probably not the engine primarily on like a Type 2.
Yeah, it's kind of everything around it. It's the whole thing.
Okay, but I mean, you
It's
can,
a
you
lot
can
of
swap a
everything.
reliable flat 4 into one of those, no
You really
problem.
could.
But
You
that's
honestly
not
could.
the main issue.
The main issue on so this is the issue with the bay windows. 72, 73 had a different brake system.
I
74.
know the later ones had disc.
Oh yeah, trust me. This is where I'm getting weird.
Okay.
72, 73 had disc brakes. 74 had disc brakes that don't swap to a 72. 74 also had a 1700cc engine in it. 75, you now have the Type 4 engine. You can lift up the maintenance compartment. You have different brakes and a different front end now. 76, 77, 78, you'd have a different front end from the 75 with different suspension.
How has Volkswagen always ruined vehicles?
See, this is why I'm saying. I'm going to tell you the differences mechanically on a split window now. 54, you have that little overhang that goes over the windshield.
Yep.
It now has a vent in it.
Sure.
63, you now have 12 volt electrical.
Nice. That's pretty early for 12 volt.
And you also have a picked 3 carburetor instead of a picked 1. And then you have disc brakes now.
Nice.
And then it's the same. That's it. It's very simple. There's some other minor changes, but it's not like it's not like the bay window where every year is different than another year.
Oh, so
and
it's
none
like
of the parts are available.
It's like the XJ in the 80s.
Yeah,
Where
seriously.
every year was like, well, we ran out of AMC steering columns, so now it's a Chrysler column.
It's exactly that. Now
What?
it's a completely different
What?
steering system.
What?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the only part we could find. Like, well, what's the part number? Like, we don't actually know.
Oh my god.
We just bought a pallet of them.
Yeah.
We made it work.
Seriously, you have to the way it, like, this is why, like, I'm always stressed out at work, like when I have a bunch of vans.
How did anyone service one of those before the internet with forums, where people knew random shit by pictures?
This is why
Junkyards?
Metric Auto Parts. That's why they had 2 stores in the Twin Cities, because they have one store that was just full van shit.
Metric
And
is great.
So with Vanagons, you have the air-cooled Vanagon up till 83. Then you have the 1.9, and then you have the 2.1, and then all the suspension's the same all across the board. The only thing they changed was the engine displacement, and then they added a cooling system. That's it. And then the Eurovan just sucks across the board. So there we go.
Stupid 90s German biodegradable harnesses.
It really ruins the Eurovan. Scott's
So if you
Eurovan is
train-
perfect, though. So he has nothing to worry about. It's just once it goes wrong, it really goes wrong.
Well, it's an auto.
Well, they all are.
All of your
VR6s,
sixes are,
yeah.
yeah.
But then you have to deal with the world's
So,
worst 5-cylinder.
so if you don't like somebody with one of
Yeah.
those, you train a pack of squirrels.
You don't have to train them.
You
They just
TD
come to it.
You TDI
Because
swap
it tastes like sugar. So squirrels go bananas under the hood. And seriously, I had a Eurovan with an entire wiring harness that had been completely devoured by squirrels because they thought it was sugar. Because it's a sugar that they use for the plastic. So it literally tastes like sugar.
I don't know why you would
to them.
try to build a car out of
Volkswagen,
anything biodegradable.
Stop making cars.
Just the worst.
Just stop it.
For the safety of everyone
I think
around.
that's our top tip for
Or
the
just
week.
just make the buzz for the rest
Yeah.
of eternity.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's on like somebody paid $61,000 for this awful.
Take your
awful
iconic
house.
vehicles, the bug
God.
and the bus,
And make
and
them
make
electric.
them electric, and then call
That's
it a day.
it. Just you're not allowed to do anything else because you're gonna ruin it. Because you always do. Every time there's an ID platform Volkswagen article, I'm like, how are they gonna ruin this?
This is why I don't have faith in this company. Like, you now understand. Because I deal with these vans all the time. Like,
Back in the
it's-
90s, like, I don't want a timing belt, I want a timing chain so it lasts forever. And Volkswagen's like, we'll
Do
give you a
you-
timing chain.
Do you really?
We're gonna make you wish you had a belt, okay? You're gonna wish. We're gonna drive the water pump off the timing chain. We're gonna make it out of really thin, shitty pot metal. It's gonna be a one-layer chain. We're gonna run tap water in the crankcase for oil.
Our guides that are quite literally this long.
Yeah.
It's about, what, a little over a foot?
Yeah, probably in a 2.0, yeah.
They are going to be about 1 foot long, and you're going to be about 1 centimeter wide and 1 centimeter deep, and they're going to have no bracing. They're going to be made entirely out of plastic.
No, thank you.
That will get rubbed apart by the timing chain. Oh, and we're going to put it smashed up against the transmission, too.
Oh yeah, not
So
on
it
the front
takes-
side.
So it takes 18 hours just to get to the damn thing. And we're going to call it the Eurovan. Yeah! Anyway, that's my thing on vans. So thank you for listening.
Yeah,
What did we learn? We all learned that Volkswagen really should keep it simple.
I'm getting money back for my trip, so that's good.
You
Not
learned that,
all of
that's
it,
good.
But
Awesome. I learned that.
it was a very vague and confusing email that I've received so many vague and confusing emails from Normandale that I have deleted my school email off my phone because I am sick of it.
I now carry a secondary phone just for work email,
Yeah,
but I also made them buy me a really nice phone. So
that's good. Do you have 3 phones now?
no, I'm going to this Verizon phones. Fun fact: if you buy one under contract, they unlock automatically after 60 days. So after 60 days, I'm gonna put my AT&T SIM in this phone, put all my personal shit on the nice new iPhone 11 Pro, then I'm gonna swap my 10 for the SE, and I'm gonna use that for the work phone.
Clever. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.